the Simpson family just lost their patriarch, OJ. And I remember, to this day, everyone still kind of has mixed feelings about the whole thing. Yeah. Do you remember where you were when the trial was, well, first of all, when the crime happened, the infamous chase happened, and then everything leading up to the trial and the verdict? Where were you?
Yeah.
You are now tuned into Native Collect. Collective.
Hey, hi, good morning. It's your girl E from Inglewood, and this is my brand new, shiny out the box co-host H from, well, kind of all over the place.
That's right.
We are back with season 2, episode 1 of your favorite local podcast, ING in LA, brought to you by Native Collective. Hope you're following on YouTube, also at The Native LA on all other socials. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about reminiscing in LA. So we're going to kind of go in the Wayback Machine today, if you don't mind.
No, I don't. And with the gray on my beard, I got to remember a couple of these things with it. Although I do appreciate you talk about your shiny new guest. I'm assuming you're talking about the shininess of my head. Didn't have enough time to pat it down, but we're going to have a great show.
It's okay. No worries. You may blind a few of our viewers, but, as long as you guys can hear the harmony here. That's all that matters.
That's right.
So where are you actually from?
Oh.
We could talk about that for a second.
Yeah, and you'll know wherever I've been to later on. But I grew up here. I grew up in LA.
Okay.
Was born in the 70s. I know. Everybody just was like, what? You look so young. I appreciate it. I don't like your facial expression, but that's fine. I grew up in LA, really like in the Hollywood area.
Okay.
And was here. I left about 12 years ago, moved around. I've been to so many different countries, so I've seen everything. I didn't think I was ever going to come back to LA. And listen, I just love you so much. So I had to come back, love the traffic, the prices, but the people, the diversity. And of course, how can I turn down an opportunity to sit down with you to be on this show?
I mean, I'm not going to fight you on that at all. Not even a little bit. So since you've kind of been all over the place, what was like your favorite area of LA to be? Like, what was your favorite place to kind of hang out with your friends and go and party? Did you party?
Yeah, no, I did. But I think back then, right, it's like now you could just go ahead and put it out on X or Twitter or Instagram, like, yo, come to my place, or texting. Back then.
Definitely wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah, no. I may text you to come over. We're going to have a party. Yeah. But, like, you just call a couple people, because, of course, by then it's like I'm dialing the numbers on the phone.
Exactly.
And then we're going. But it would be Hollywood. I'd go down to Sunset. I mean, I would even go down to the jungles, down by Crenshaw Doors. I know, I have that look. But I would go down there, and I would do I'd go to Culver City, the beach. I mean, everywhere where stuff was happening, I was going to end up being there. And all my friends were like, man, where are you going? My parents, by the way, were like, they called me Junior. They're like, Junior, what's going on? Like, why are you out there? But yeah, I've been everywhere. What about you?
So initially I wasn't a huge partier. It really wasn't my thing. And it just wasn't my scene initially. But when we come back from this short break, I'll tell you a little bit more about it.
Can't wait.
Hey, I'm Win Sardin, and I'm excited to be a part of Native Collective Digital Membership Waitlist, where I'm tapping into a range of resources and connecting with professionals. This platform is proven beneficial in helping me stay organized and maintain a proactive approach as I continue to make a leading impact in the community.
Hey there, it's your girl E. If you're anything like me, you're probably tired of searching for one place that truly identifies the cultural diversity in the melting pot that is Los Angeles. Well, I've got some really good news for you. I'd like to introduce you to Native Collective, the hottest, most exclusive private membership club that's about to change the game.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy AP here, man, Alex Porter. And in the midst of using my gifts, I am now collabing with and partnering up with Nativ. That is right. I just signed up for Nativ's digital membership waiting list. And what Nativ is, or what they do, is they put you around others that is like-minded in your industry or in your lane. I just signed up and got on their waiting list, man. This drop is about to be phenomenal. I'm telling you, big things is happening in 2024. Nativ is the place to be. You need to get there ASAP. Big things happening. Once again, nativ.com. Go sign up now, get on the waiting list. And look, see, I just left SoFi Stadium because I just came from a celebrity basketball game playing right now, because that's what Nativ do. They put you around the people that is like-minded in your industry and what you do. So I don't brag or push things that I'm not a part of. So go sign up now, get it cracking. Let's make it happen. All right, let's get it. Go Nativ.
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Shamley. I'm from Orlando, Florida, and I just signed up for Nativ's collective digital membership waitlist. I am a real estate agent and entrepreneur, and I'm going to use Nativ's resources to meet other like-minded professionals, clients, and investors. It's something I'm truly excited about because not only is Ashley a friend of mine, but someone I respect heavily in her field, and if she tells me that I need to meet someone, whether it's in person, via Zoom, or talk to them, I can trust that it's not only worth my time, but it'll be a mutually beneficial relationship. So I encourage anyone who's thinking about it to also do the same.
So specifically, I think once I kind of really got into the party culture, very begrudgingly, mind you, I kind of wanted to hit like all of the hot spots. Like everyone was going to like Le Doux and Whiskey A Go-Go, Troubadour, the Roxy was really hot. Oh my God, is it hot? It sounds so old. The Roxy was really swinging back in the day. Cabana Club.
Yep.
But I also remember one of the things I really, really disliked the most was they would take a venue and change the name of it like every few months.
Right.
It's like White Lotus. And then a few months later, it's like, oh, it's like Banana Peels or something. I don't know. I can't keep up with it.
No. And I think that was because of insurance reasons. I think they just couldn't pay and like, hey, let's change the club name.
Oh, yeah.
But now when you went to club, like for me, there's two questions I got to ask. Number one, you are a tall glass of water.
A little bit.
And I'm sure people were like, oh my gosh, you're so tall. How tall are you? Number one. And number two, because of your height and your tremendous looks, did you have to wait in line?
What's a line?
See, you know what I mean? People like us, right? Us. 90% of us were outside hoping to get in. Meanwhile, we would just stand there in line and we'd watch her walk by. I'm like, oh, there they go into the club, and I had to wait.
Yeah, I mean, because back in the day, it wasn't about what you know; it's about who you know.
Yeah, I knew
if
nobody.
You didn't know those promoters, you were not getting in at all. You would be outside. Probably you'd get there early. They'd probably tell you to get there like at 9:30. Doors open at 9:30. Free before 11. You'd get there at 8:45, and if you didn't know a promoter, you'd be out there until at least 11:15.
No, I did find luck though when the door guy was Latino.
Oh, look at you!
And of course, I'm from LA, so I speak Spanish. Okay, it's more like Spanglish. So it's always like, mi amigo, por favor, mi amigos, can we go in? They're like, all right, come on in. And eventually, but of course, that'd be by 11.
See.
And by then, you had already been dancing. People been talking to people. I'd be ordering my
Numbers
first
had been exchanged. Drinks had been consumed. Somebody's already like upside down, pee popping on a handstand. You're stumbling in to like last call almost because it's LA, and even though the club closes at 2, we know that's not true.
No. And so I was always the last one. So it was really like people like you, my sister, Pilar, same thing. They just be getting in. And of course, then I have to be the older brother. I'm like, hey, can you get me in? Can you get us in?
He's our security. He's our chaperone.
Yeah.
Please.
Always. I ended up being like the silent older brother all the time. But like the whiskey was great. But I used to like going to comedy shows, like the Laugh Factory, Comedy Store. All those different, there was actually comedy sports in Hollywood as well too, where you just go And I just like comedy altogether and just the bravery to get on stage.
Oh yeah, I lack that hardcore.
You know, we should try. In fact, this could be our own stand-up.
This is our new version of stand-up. It's called Sit Down. Sit down because nobody wants you up on that stage telling any jokes.
They don't want anybody at all.
So if waiting in line wasn't really your jam, and a good comedy show, that's wonderful for anybody. Maybe the more low-key version of partying. Did you ever throw a kickback? Maybe when, somebody was out of town or home alone?
Well, so my parents were never out of town.
Oh.
They didn't believe in going out of town at all.
They knew.
They knew. They knew. So like, you know what? My son, Junior, we're going to get him. So it'd always be my friends.
Mm-hmm.
You get a phone call, again, phone call, guys, not a text message.
Landlines.
Yeah. Or even like we had beepers or pagers. Now doctors still have it, but back then I'm like, oh, I guess I got to call someone.
Gotta
they got to
find
get
a
on.
payphone.
Yeah, if you don't know what a payphone is, I don't know what to tell you. Go on there and then like beep, and then it'll tell you where to go, and then you go there for a while, and then usually it's small. Start with maybe 3 to 5 people, then all of a sudden 10, then later on. Now all of a sudden you have full on rager in the house.
Exactly.
And then the police are here, and you're like, oh boy, I gotta go.
It's exactly how it happens in the movies. I think that if you're not from here, then this is probably like the one scenario I will allow you to say, LA is just like I see it in the movies. What do you think? Do you think there's a difference between the way a native throws an LA party versus someone who's not from here? Like, I feel like the reasons behind throwing said party might be a little different.
Yeah.
Like an LA kickback, I feel would just be like, come through.
Right.
Come kick it.
Right.
Smoke a little weed, maybe, definitely, have a couple drinks, maybe play some games.
Yeah.
Watch WrestleMania. I don't know. Whatever's going on. But I feel like a native trying to throw a kickback in LA, I just feel like that's so weird.
Yeah, but what I found is that the natives were more like a little more upscale, a little more uppity. Like I had friends from the Midwest, so their little get-together kickback, it'd be like Coors Light, a little rock music, stuff that I wasn't really into. But the natives were more like, you get it like all of a sudden. That's where pretty much I had my first shot of whiskey. Tequila young because I'm Hispanic. But you know what I mean? Like you have, it's just different with it. Now, I have to say this. In the Latino culture, there is no such thing as small kickback.
Oh, that's absolutely true.
It is a party fiesta.
Oh, absolutely.
As we like to say.
Fiesta grande.
Okay. But you have to. So I think there is a big difference with it. I think also with natives, there was just a little bit more like kind of showing off a little bit.
Yeah.
Than I think, when you're not from here. And then also when you're not from here, you're not sure what areas to throw a party. Because sometimes you throw a party and then you don't know who is at your party.
Oh.
Because people just show up.
I've done that. Sorry, Mom. I love you. But there was a weekend, you and Daddy were out of town.
Ooh, confessions.
And I was supposed to have a handful of people over to the house. And because of the location of the house, I guess people heard it from the street and they were kind of like, what's going on? So by the time the people that I knew were leaving, I'm like, I don't think I've seen you. Is that my, are you taking my base? I'm like, where are you going with my Cheeto Puffs? Like, who are you and where did y'all come from? But, I was young and dumb back then, and I've definitely since then learned my lesson. So at these kickbacks, like, it was more about like relaxing and chilling and stuff. When you actually did get into the club, at 11:30, were you one of those guys to kind of like just stand around and look? Or were you like out there on the dance floor getting in on the action? Because I feel like now nobody dances.
Well, so I think it all depends really on your height. I'm huge on height, okay? Not because you're tall, but I think when you're over 6'2", 6'3", you're almost the guy who is always up against the wall with the drink in your hand looking. Then you have like the guys like me, 5'11" in the morning, by the way, 5'10" at night. But when you're my height, you're like the fun guy. right? So you're in the middle of it. I would make my way. I'd go in. My friend who was 6'2" would go get the drink. See, this is the best thing too. All my friends were all basketball players. So we're talking like 6'2", 6'5", 6'6". So all of them, you know, when we walk in, we get attention. But they get the attention. I am not. So I have to weave my way into the middle of the club and then just start dancing with like random people. But you know, it's like a big group. Yeah. You have no idea. But you have like a couple couples who are doing some things on the side. But really like in the middle, you're just dancing and you just, you know, I just smile all the time and I'm just having a good time. And that energy fueled. So I think I definitely got into some great experiences and things because of just that energy. Yeah. Even though I wasn't tall like all the other guys were.
Just for the record, I want you to go. You can rewind the tape at some point, but he did refer to himself as fun size. Just want you to take.
I did. Listen, you gotta know where you are. You gotta know who you are. As I get older in my life, I could understand that, and I could say I am fun size. Damn it! All right, let's switch gears a little bit. I want to talk to you about cruising, which, for those who don't know what that is, you're just in your car, just driving. So, talk about cruising. Where'd you go? I mean, and what kind of car were you cruising in?
Okay, so I think when cruise culture was huge, you know, for me, I was in high school. I didn't drive yet, so I really had to kind of like, you know, cozy up to people with vehicles. But my favorite cruising spot was Crenshaw. I mean, I live like right off of Crenshaw, so it was just kind of a natural place for me to be. It's like you go outside and then you just head north. And it was just so exciting for me. One side of the street would have all of the Chevys, like the Camaros and stuff, and the IROCs, and the other side of the street would have all of the Mustangs, and everyone would be revving their engines and like doing donuts in the middle of the street. It was basically LA's version of like a Bay Area sideshow. Oh yeah. You know, it was electrifying. Right. You know, some of your parents actually met while cruising Crenshaw. I'm just saying, it's the truth. Ask them about it. They'll know. But I think that for people who maybe weren't into, and forgive me for saying it this way, more urban culture, you know, they would go a little further north, way further north, and cruise Sunset. Yeah. You know, that was a lot for me.
Well, that's a little far.
I'm just saying the experience was a lot. It was kind of mind-blowing for me. But what was it like for you, though?
Yeah, so for me it was Sunset because it was close to the house and I don't really like driving far. But it was really more the embarrassment of the cars that I had. All right, so the first time I drove down Sunset, my very first car really made me look like a predator. I had this van. All right, so I'm like 17 years old, 60 in a van, but I thought it was the coolest thing ever because all my teammates would go in there. So it was this. It's gonna sound horrible. It was wood panel van, and it was like cushion in the back. It was good. All my friends had great speakers. My friends loved it. But I kind of realized that it's not a great car to go cruising down Sunset in a van. I'd get the most horrible looks.
Yeah, you're pulling no one in a
nobody,
van.
No one, especially when you have a sliding door. Like, hey,
no one.
No one's coming in a sliding door. Don't ever get in a sliding door. I'm just saying.
Don't ever have a sliding door.
No.
On your vehicle.
I changed. I said, all right, I'm going to go ahead. I upgraded to a Honda Prelude at the time. Okay. Yes, very fancy 2-door stick shift. So now, when you have a stick shift, you put that thing in neutral.
You're doing something.
Oh yeah, you're just like going right down. Again, nobody was looking, but that's fine. But it was really like that experience and seeing people and all the different restaurants and all the things. And really, for me, I was like, man, one day I want to be able to go into that restaurant. Yeah. One day I want to be able to have that car. You know what I mean? It was sort of a visualization. Inspiration, visualization moment for me. Right. With it, and I'd be cruising around, and then But I would eventually go to a lot of concerts, though.
Oh yeah.
I would go and what is the best concert you went to?
Maybe not performance-wise, but I did see Future and Drake. Okay. But the tickets were free. Yeah. So hey,
winning.
The best. Yeah. What about you?
Well, I mean, that is a little more current. My best. I'm just aging myself the whole time here. My best one, I went to go see the Fugees when Lauryn Hill. I know. No one in this room even knows who the Fugees are. I tell you what. Hold on, I see some back there. Apologize.
Look at Sharonda's shaking that head at you.
So Lauryn Hill, right? And what's crazy is that 20 years later, I worked on a TV show with Lauryn Hill's nephew, and then went to another concert of hers in Jersey.
Oh, okay.
A long time.
Was she notoriously late for that as well?
She was. Absolutely late with everything. But no, that was the best one. And it could be because it was one of my earlier ones.
Yeah.
I think now, when I start going through concerts, it's like I don't know everybody's album. Like, I don't know every song. I know like 3.
I kind of don't want to, though.
Yeah. And then the rest, I'm like, oh, that was all right. But now that I'm older, now I go to all like the throwback ones with like, I just went to one with like 50 Cent.
Oh, yeah.
And Busta Rhymes.
Yeah.
All those guys. And I'm like, wow, you guys are fat.
Yeah, I saw some of our favorite West Coast favorites at this festival hither on my chest. Once Upon a Time in LA. That was a really good festival, right actually across the street. Unfortunately, someone did get stabbed in the neck that evening and pass away. But that aside, it was really one of the best times I've had. In LA. I love a good music festival. Yeah, I really, really do.
Now so now, is music big in your life? Like, if we were gonna go, like, what are some things that are big in life? Like, because if we were gonna take a look at your algorithm, social media algorithm, all right, on your For You page, the FYP, what would be showing up?
Okay. This is going to age me.
It's all right. Join the party.
You are going to find a lot of food-related things.
Yes.
Maybe a sprinkling of like makeup and hair tutorials.
Yeah, I don't have that.
But for the most part, you are going to find so many cats.
Oh no.
You are going to see so much cat activity on my timeline. In particular, there's this one orange cat. I think we know him now virally as the Ratchet Cat. I look at that video at least 6-7 times a day.
Yeah.
I can't not. I'm obsessed. Cats are just, they're not real. They're aliens.
I love that's part of your workflow now.
Yeah,
Take a look
absolutely.
at the Ratchet Cat.
It is. It's how I wake up in the morning, I stretch, I pray, and I look at Ratchet Cat, okay? That is how we get off on the right foot every morning.
Now, we like to do a section here on the show, of course, for our natives, asking questions. We're going to ask Eve 4 questions on a few things and maybe get a little rapid fire, see what she really loves. All right, here, are you ready?
As ready as I will ever be. Yes.
All right. Now, probably the vaguest question, not Vegas, vague-est question is, so what you like doing in LA?
Oh, come on. Everything. Going to the beach, smoking weed, going to the movies, eating.
All right. So for all that stuff, where do you like going?
To eat.
Let's
or
go
just
eat.
in general.
I think let's go eating and then general.
Oh, Lord. Anywhere that's got good beer and good craft cocktails and...
There's no food in there whatsoever, but it's fine.
We need more Jamaican food in LA. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I can say right now.
Okay. Where do you hate driving?
Ooh, Sepulveda, the 110 freeway. Yes, I took it to get here. The 405 North.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I think she mentioned every freeway. Last question. Where do you like shopping?
Online, in the safety and comfort of my own home.
Now, but then what happens? Like, so do you order like a bunch of things, try them on, and then return them?
So I work very close to the Del Amo Mall. I don't know if you've realized, but our malls are kind of dying right now.
Yeah.
If you've gone to the South Bay Galleria, it's a graveyard. So Del Amo is cool. I still go to Fox Hills to get my eyebrows done, which I did not do prior to coming here today.
Do not zoom in. Do not zoom in.
But I love going to Westfield Culver City. It's so cool.
All right, now, and we're going to have those questions on all the shows, so just stay tuned for all of them. But now I want to switch to sports because, of course, we talked about your height. It's not a big thing at all. But let's talk. Obviously, we're in LA. We are the biggest sports city. I don't want to hear nothing from you about New York. All right, nothing about New York. We're the biggest sports city in the world. So, what are some of your favorite sports moments?
Man, okay, so obviously when the Los Angeles Lakers acquired one Kobe Bean Bryant, and then went on to win a championship, and Laker parades. Anything Lakers, I'm a little biased.
Okay.
I think that most recently, though, my favorite memory, which LA, you still owe us a parade for, the double championship with the Dodgers and the Lakers back in 2020.
Wait a second.
I'm just
You
saying.
mean the Lakers bubble championship during COVID? Mm-hmm. That doesn't count. No, it
It absolutely counts.
can't.
A native would never say these things.
No, no, a native would be real understanding. I mean, okay, well, I can't.
It counts.
No, I'm going to say no, but that's all right. Now, hold on. Okay, so Lakers, are you a big baseball fan? Hockey? We have like now 5 football teams. I don't know how many football teams
We
you
have
here.
one football team, and it is the Los Angeles Rams.
I knew you were going to say that. Yes, you were gonna say it.
I
Okay.
recognize no other football team in the
Okay.
city or the state.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, in the States.
Yeah, don't even say it. Don't even say it. We don't talk about them.
We're just going to wait for the comments below. We'll see what they say. All right. Those are championships. Worst sports moment for you, though. And I think I know what we're going to say here, but go ahead.
Still stings, man. I don't even want to say it, but y'all know. Y'all know what happened January 2020. I don't even want to talk about it, but easily the worst moment in sports history. We'll never recover from that.
Yeah.
The sport of basketball will never recover from that.
No.
Never.
I talked to a lot of coaches. They talk about that. That's the worst sports moment ever
Yeah.
in their history. And I remember I was on a show in Virginia. I was sitting in my bed. My son calls me and said, "Dad, did you know that Kobe?" I was like, "No, there's no way."
Yeah.
So then, of course, I go on Twitter because I don't watch the news. That's where I get my news from.
Right.
Or X. Is it Twitter or X? Just let
I
us
still
know.
call it Twitter, just like it's still the Fox Hills Mall.
Yes.
Elon Musk don't run this.
No, he definitely is not running the Fox Hills Mall. No, that, and I remember that, and it was such just a tragic day overall. And
Oh, yeah.
It affects so many people with it as time goes on. So for me, it's definitely that. But I think the other part is how Kobe and Shaq could not coexist. That was really, really hard. Although, you know, it's always like everything, right? It's Shaq, and later on is like, oh, I should have done better, and everybody says that. But I think it's a good story to
Yeah.
understand where you are in that moment and how you've got to, in many ways, let people be.
Yeah, I think that the whole Shaq and Kobe thing, it gave me everything I needed in life that I didn't even know that I needed. It was giving me sports. It was giving me drama. It was like watching the NBA playoffs with a soap opera rolled in. It was everything. So I can understand why some people would look at that as like, a bad sports memory. But
Yeah.
for me, it was just like,
Well,
this
that-
is beautiful.
And I got to add one thing.
Yes.
There were a lot of mistakes on that Kobe Bryant statue that was put up. We're not going to talk about this, Lakers. I mean, I don't know who's proofreading. There's AI. There's ChatGPT. You could put that thing in ChatGPT and it will tell you how to spell things correctly, but that was a debacle.
Yes, but it's still better than the Monopoly piece that Allen Iverson got.
Sorry, Allen Iverson.
So, recently we just lost, the world just lost, the Simpson family just lost their patriarch, OJ. And I remember, to this day, everyone still kind of has mixed feelings about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Do you remember where you were when the trial was, first of all, when the crime happened,
Yep.
the infamous chase happened, and then everything leading up to the trial and the verdict? Where were you?
Yeah, I was at home.
Okay.
I remember this. I remember all of a sudden, back then I don't even know how old I was. I think I was working at a job at the Beverly Center, I think.
Okay.
And I was like, just watch on TV. Then all of a sudden they cut everything, and then the white Bronco is going, and I was like, "This is OJ." And then his boy in the car, I forgot his name.
Al Cowlings?
Yeah, Al was telling him to put his head down like you're just driving all over. Not even fast. Just driving. They were cruising, basically. They were cruising. And then the cop cars were coming around all over it. And then, eventually he stopped. I just couldn't believe it.
Right.
Back then, you're like, that's a celebrity. Now, Diddy does the same thing. And then we're like, okay, it's somebody else guy. But back then,
oh yeah,
it was crazy.
Like LA is notorious. We are probably the high-speed chase capital of the world at this point. And I remember I was in elementary school, 6th grade, I believe. And our producer Ashley actually went to school with me. She was there. She knows. She knows. And we were begging our teacher when the verdict was going to be announced, because I think at that age, we definitely shouldn't have been following this trial whatsoever, because it was so graphic. They didn't, try to spare any detail. Everything was out in the open, and we were just so invested in it. So it was like, please let us just watch the verdict during recess. We don't want to play Foursquare. We don't want to play basketball. We don't want to eat snacks. We want to know if he did it.
Yep.
So we got to just sit in the classroom, and we were just like sitting there waiting with bated breath, just like, everyone's holding their breath. And I remember when they announced not guilty, some people leapt out of the classroom, arms pumping in the air, so excited. And I remember just kind of being like, y'all know he did that, right?
Like, wait a minute.
Even as a child, it was like, he did that.
Yeah.
I know that Al and OJ didn't necessarily have a plan.
Right.
Just kind of cruising up and down the 405. Where, if you had been in the car, if you had been their nav system, where would you have been? What freeway do you think you would have sent them on? Where would you have them go to kind of get away?
Well, I mean, you can't get away anywhere in LA. You can't get away. Like 405, 110, 101. I don't even think the 91 was around during that time. They couldn't even do that. I mean, I tell you what, if I was on the highway, the freeway, see, that's when I've been out of the state for a while, because I said the word highway. Freeway, when I'm on the freeway, I think I would have just followed along.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever, taking out my camcorder. Because there was no damn phone. And just
sitting there, hanging out the window of your Prelude,
Now the
your
best thing
van.
though is when they start having documentaries, and then they had the movie. I forgot who it was. All I know is that one of the guys from Friends played.
David Schwimmer.
Yes. I was like, you can't play the Kardashian guy, but the guy who played the main lawyer, I can't remember any of these guys' names.
Courtney B. Vance as Johnny Cochran.
Yes. Look at you. She knows it. I'm so sorry.
It's LA,
He was amazing
Yeah.
with it. And for just a brief moment, it made me want to become a lawyer. Then I saw how much schooling. I said, no, thank you.
Yeah. No offense.
Yeah,
no offense, Ashley.
You're an amazing
We
lawyer.
love attorneys here at ING in LA. We support all of your legal endeavors here at Native LA. So, speaking of celebrity, do you remember a time before, I guess, everyone was a celebrity? Before the advent of TMZ, before they kind of infested LA, what do you remember about that?
I think a lot of it was, even though you grow up here, and for me, if I see a celebrity, I was never like, oh my gosh, that's. And a lot of it is, I think, just because I just saw them as people.
Yeah.
In many ways. But I mean, just that's why TMZ is so big, because then the drama, all the backstories and all the crazy stories, like, oh, did you hear this?
Mm-hmm.
And even going to the store in the National Enquirer, which is still around today, saying all these crazy things that's what made, for me, the celebrities like, no way, did you see that happen?
Yeah.
Like that. And then with TMZ, now it's 24/7.
Yeah.
You know everything about their lives.
Too much access.
Yeah.
Should be called TMA. Too much access.
No one knew how many kids celebrities had before.
Right.
Or even athletes. Now you know how many kids they have.
All their names, their dietary restrictions.
That's right.
You
know the child support.
I know their teachers' names.
Right. Everything. Then you're done. So no, for me it's just been amazing watching how now we are in their lives without even knowing them.
Well, I mean, not to brag, it's going to sound a little braggy, but no, I think that growing up in LA, you are bound to actually know them. Did you ever grow up knowing any celebrities, or did anyone that you grew up with become a celebrity?
So, where I grew up, my neighbor was a guy named Jim Hill, who still does sports on CBS Sports.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's been on TV for 50 years.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage's ex-wife was my neighbor. Is that a celebrity? I don't know.
What? Who? Which one?
I don't know. I remember she was just the
Like
blonde.
his baby mama, or
I don't. I just remember the house where they live in, and then, but my sister's close friend was a guy named Mike Vitar, who was on. Why can't I remember that movie? It was a baseball kids movie with a big dog jumping over a fence.
Oh, The Sandlot.
The Sandlot. The guy who played Benny the Jet.
You can't
Benny the Jet.
remember The Sandlot?
No, I don't. Mike Vitar, who played Benny the Jet, who was discovered at a school festival.
Oh, shout out
He was
to
not even an
festivals.
actor. He hated acting, by the way. He was like the only one I could say kind of grew up.
That's pretty cool.
with. Yeah.
Ashley and I went to school with a member of B2K.
Whoa!
What was the member?
Was it, which one? Fizz? No. Yes, it was. Lil Fizz? Raz B? Omarion?
I hope it was a Mario.
No, one of them definitely left to go on to make Bump Bump Bump. Gave up recess for that. So shout out to you. Shout out to B2K. I'm really sad that we won't get a reunion tour anytime
That's
soon.
sad.
So
They should you should listen, get over everything and just get it all together.
please. Summer concert would be great. A little something by the beach.
Now, you just said the word beach.
That's like the magic word here.
That's right.
Ding, ding, ding.
You grew up here.
Yes.
Talk about the beach scene. Did you go? Were you laying out? Like, what were you doing? Like Muscle Beach,
Oh, yeah.
Venice Beach, Santa Monica Pier. Where'd you
This
go?
tan does not maintain itself. I mean, it kind of does. Shout out to blackness.
Yeah.
No, but I think that because of where I grew up in Inglewood, you shoot right down Imperial, and then you have Dockweiler right there.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like every weekend sometimes. In the summer, when I was younger, we went on a lot of like family vacations. So I'd go to like other beaches, which are cool, but they're not LA, so we won't talk about that.
Yeah,
Ooh.
can't do that. We don't do that on this show.
But I think that Dockweiler is probably one of the most, I would say, most heavily populated beach. Everyone loves Santa Monica. They've got the pier, and then you got the Venice Boardwalk, which definitely used to frequent in like my high school, early adult years.
Yeah.
But I think now, I think I want different things from the beach.
Yeah.
I
Peace.
don't want to be
I want
ogled.
peace.
I don't want to be fondled on accident. I don't want to be catcalled. I don't want to be harassed. I just want to get a tan and read a book. So you might find me in Hermosa Beach now these days, Redondo Beach.
Yeah.
I find it's so much more peaceful down that way.
Yeah.
People tend to bother you less.
Yeah, I think when you reach my age, you're like, can someone just catcall me? Just maybe like one time. I don't know.
Ladies, slide in those DMs.
Yeah, come on. But no, yeah, it would be Venice Beach a lot. I remember the first time I went to Venice Beach, I was like, what is this modern day travesty is happening? It was just so different, obviously, and with the people, and then by that time there were some homeless people. Not at the amount that it is today.
Yeah.
And then I think you don't realize too, like now you see the sunsets or the sunrise, you can take a picture of it.
Yeah.
Back then you're like, oh, there it goes.
Here it comes, there it goes.
I should probably go home now
Yeah.
because it would be cold as well too. Now one of the things too, going to the beach, first of all, Pacific Ocean, freezing.
It's California freezing, for those of you who don't know.
Yeah, that is for me.
Because the Atlantic is ridiculous. You think it's cold here in the Pacific? Go over on that other side and dip a toe.
Just like
They wear sweaters. They wear thick cable knit sweaters to the beach. We can at least wear swimwear.
But that's a good point. People don't realize going to different beaches in the country, Atlantic, the Pacific. I've been down to the Gulf of Mexico off Mississippi and New Orleans, and it's like bathwater. Meanwhile, you'll be in the water and someone is crawfishing. And it's like, what are you doing? And you're like, oh, they're crawfishing.
Yeah.
They're just throwing nets right next to you. So listen, LA, you got there's a little, a couple cans in the ocean, maybe some seaweed, but you're not getting hooked on by these damn crawfish people.
That's true. Thank God, because I'm not a crawfish. I love crawfish, but I am not one. Thank goodness for that. I think one of my most recent favorite beach stories, was going to slide this in real quick. A bunch of us had gone to the beach to hang out after lunch, and someone had driven their car partially onto the sand. I guess they were trying to show off for somebody. I don't know. But they got stuck, and then they were just trying to, like, gun it in reverse, and then it was just digging in the sand more. And we could not help but just stand there and watch the whole thing. I'm like, someone get snacks, get some chairs. Let's just hang out and see where this goes.
Yeah. Now we would all pull out our phones.
Oh, absolutely.
And put that thing on Instagram.
Absolutely.
Did you see this fool?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Here we go, man.
So I'm thinking of like favorite childhood memories, and well, I guess it's not really a good one. Okay, so it was like my 8th birthday, I think, and we were having a party at the house, and my neighbor's son at the time was very troubled person. And everyone's like in the living room, dining room in my house, got birthday hats. We're about to, have some hot dogs and hamburgers and stuff. And then all of a sudden, like, you just hear gunfire. And it was like, and so we had to spend a good portion of the rest of my birthday party
No.
on the floor. Taking cover until we found out what happened. And I mean, now that I can look back at it 30 years later, it's like, I survived. It's funny now. But in the moment, it was like, this is how I die.
No, isn't it crazy? Like now, that stuff is all over social media. Then everyone's like, oh my gosh, you're like, we have to keep our kids safe. Back then, it's like, it's normal.
Yeah.
Like it was normal for my parents not to know where I was.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, Junior will be back. I mean, I grew up, so my mom's from the Philippines.
Okay.
So this Filipina lady is like, she cooks for everybody, talks to everybody. So we would have all these parties all the time, like during the middle of the week.
Yeah.
Like it didn't matter. Like it wasn't weekend. I'd be like, Mom, I'm tired. Like, oh no, Mio, just go to sleep over here in the corner. I did the same thing. I go to my friend's house. Not my friends, their friend's house.
Yeah.
I didn't have friends. My friends were my mom's friends.
Oh my God.
And you just go there, and it'll be like midnight. And like, Mom, I have to go to, I have school tomorrow morning. She goes, oh no, Junior, it's okay. Just go sleep. Go sleep in that bed.
Like, oh yeah, this
What?
is happening.
Do they have bed bugs? Like what? Who sleeps in this bed or in the corner? And now, I mean, the great thing now is I can sleep anywhere because of that.
Okay.
But those are like traumatic things. Now it's like, no, we have to, like when I had my kids are grown now, but when they were kids, like my ex-wife was like, oh no, they have to sleep in their own bed. We have to leave at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is dumb. We're fine. They should be out forever.
Right?
With everything else. But no, but like, though, I think that's the big part about LA, like the diversity.
Yeah.
The different people. I mean, I grew up in the Hollywood area, and I had maybe 2 white friends. Maybe. At every race. It was only when I got to high school, when the majority of the high school was white. And then I was like, this is crazy.
Surprise.
Like, wow.
White people.
Who are you? You know what I mean? Like, it was like this different mix for me growing up, like just all the different, I think backgrounds.
Yeah. Did you ever sneak out when you were a kid?
A few times, but I grew up in an old house, and my dad didn't sleep, so every step was like a creep. And my dad would sleep. So I was 50. No, he was 50 when I was born.
It's like you were 50?
Yeah. So he was already upset when I was born. He was like, "Man, I got to raise a kid, and I'm 50 years old." Okay. So he would, when I was in high school and older, he couldn't sleep like laying down, so he'd be propped up in his bed like a mummy. And he'd be in bed by 5 o'clock, so the lights are on and everything else.
That's not terrifying.
So I'd, walk in at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I hear, Mio, which means my son in Spanish. I was like, oh no. And I'm trying to like be creak the whole time, and he'd just be there. And then what he would do, so okay, I'd get home like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and my dad was an early riser. He'd get up at 5 or 6. So by 7 a.m., I've slept 3 hours. He's already knocking on my door, saying, first of all, this door should not be closed. because this is my house.
Right.
And secondly, you're lazy. Get your ass up. And I was like, oh, so now I'm older. I can't sleep past like 7.
That's wild.
I'm like, is my dad here? Is he gonna come knock on my door?
Yes.
You know, but it was
Spirit of your father's.
Yeah, he's around. He's like Scrooge. I love you, Pops. Bless you.
He's ever present.
Yeah.
Do you like going to the LA County Fair?
Oh my gosh. I've only been to the LA County Fair. Now, the LA County Fair is on the outskirts of LA. Is it not?
It's in Pomona.
It's in Pomona.
Yeah. So
Seriously,
it
Pomona.
just barely qualifies.
I mean, you're right at the border.
Yeah.
Who's driving that far? I've been to the LA County. You like the turkey leg?
I
Everybody
love
loves a turkey leg.
I used to go to the fair every year for my birthday. Like that was my birthday party. Was going to the LA County Fair.
I would fall asleep by the time I get to the fair.
No, you wouldn't. It's not that bad of a drive. Like, listen, I hate driving, and I just got a new car, and I hate driving. But like, driving with purpose, driving to go to the fair, yes, I will do it.
I've been twice. I've been twice to the LA County Fair, and then I think as I got older, I was like, oh, these rides are not good.
They're
Safe,
not the
clean.
safest,
But the food.
Yeah, the
They go
food
for the
is
food.
still lit. They have like a huge hall of vendors and stuff.
Okay.
A lot of small businesses are out there. Shout out to Art and Beauty Equilibrium. My cousins Shima and G. They will actually be at the LA County Fair selling their wares soon. So make sure you go and check that out.
All right, if you guys go, I'll go.
We'll get a caravan going.
I'll go.
We'll find your old van and we'll gather the team. And
That's
we'll
right,
go.
and we'll open the sliding door and jump out. There you go. All right, talk about LA. Talk about all our different things. But where did you grow up? What schools? Come on, give me the tea, as the young people say.
Well, obviously, I'm from Inglewood. Always up to no good. And surprisingly, I went to a Catholic private school. So I went to St. Jerome School in Westchester, California with our lovely producer, Ashley. Go Spartans. Shout out to Sister Barbara Jones, because I feel like she's still alive. Rest in peace, Sister Miriam Joseph, you the realist. I loved it. It was a time. Red plaid jumpers and bright red PE shorts. We had all sorts of like charitable events. We did like socials. We had what was that thing? What was the whole thing called? Activity Day.
Okay.
So we would pair off. We would like team up. Like all the grades would have like different numbers of each grade on a team, and we'd go through like various obstacle courses and like sack race, egg race, stuff like that. Cakewalk, where people's parents would bake cakes, and it was kind of like musical chairs. So we were playing musical chair for pastries. It was a time. We had a spring carnival and a fall carnival. It was lit. I loved it. And then Notre Dame Academy, private all-girls Catholic high school in West Los Angeles. That was, it was just trading one plaid jumper for wool and twill skirts, no more than 4 inches above the knee. It was crazy times. No tennis shoes. So we had to wear like Doc Martens or I don't know, like some
saddle
orthopedic
shoes.
Some people wore saddle shoes. Wow. I see you, Ellery. It was a time though. What about you? Where did you grow up academically?
Wow. So I went to school called Our Mother of Good Counsel.
Okay, where is that?
Which is like, it's in LA, like right above Hollywood, the Los Feliz area.
Ah.
So that was my parents were immigrants, and was like, oh no, you're going to a private school.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, fine. I mean, of course, I was in first grade, so I had nothing whatsoever to do with it. But I went there, same thing though. But like, I think all those schools have like the different festivals, and the uniform was like a white shirt and blue pants. So I definitely had no style. My very first pair of Nikes were brown suede Nikes. And by the way, my mom, they were from Big Five, and I can't believe Big Five is still around. They were on sale.
You kept them in
Big
business.
Five, and I know probably my mom was always keeping Big Five in business. So I'd have these clunky brown, heavy Nike, which by the way, right now probably go for $5,000.
Nike shit kickers.
Yeah, they were awful. So then there's that, and then so I went first through 8th grade, okay, and then finding the high school for me to go to.
Yeah.
And my mom one day comes in the room and she says, Junior, you are not going to a co-ed school. You are trouble with the girls.
See, Mama knew.
Yeah, well, she's also, Filipino women are crazy. No offense, I love y'all, half of my life, I love you guys, but she's like, no. So I went to all boys Catholic school called St. Francis.
Okay.
Which is all the way in La Cañada and Pasadena. And that's where I was, like mentioned earlier, it was like different. I went from an extremely diverse school
to
all of a sudden a white school.
Totally.
And it was like and then so it was, all of us minorities were all, I don't know if anybody calls it minorities anymore, but back then it was like all of us.
Well, if you ask white people, they're the minority.
Yeah, right. So yeah, and so I grew up that, and for me it was best because I was able to understand different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And then going to their homes and like their customs and I call them custom, but like everything that they do, with it. And then of course one of my very, like maybe my second girlfriend, she lived in the jungles. So I would venture down there, and cause she went to Dorsey, and it was like, so I being in LA is the best ever because if you have the opportunity to be in every part of the city, you learn something new with it. And for this day, it's helped me in any industry I've worked in to relate and to kind of find those moments with people.
I think being able to be in every part of the city is what taught me to not go to the jungles. So shout out to St. Francis and Notre Dame Academy. I know since we went to single-sex high school, your dances had to be just as weird as ours.
Yeah, they were.
What were your sister schools, and did you have to share them with anybody?
I believe so. So the main one was Immaculate Heart.
Ooh.
It's also where my sister went. So I was always around Immaculate Heart because since you go to all-boys school, then you have to go find places. So what did I do? I would go pick up my sister and be at the all-girls school. Probably the only time in my life they're like, "Oh, who is that? Your brother?" Thank you. But there was also like Sacred Heart and Mayfield, a lot of the Pasadena area schools with it. And then, but then like I got more when I was coaching high schools. I coached at Los Angeles High School down in Hancock Park. Yeah. And that was just like totally different as well too. But then we would play the Westchesters, the Fairfaxes, all the manual arts. All the different places with it, and so you get a definite respect for the different high schools. Because the reality is, the high school that I went to, we had some great stuff. Yeah. And then over time, more people would move into those schools and from the city and everything else. What about you?
So our school was so small. I think total it had like 400 people, like total freshman through senior class. And our brother school was Loyola, and I guess the ratio was way off, so we had to share them with, I think, Marlboro, St. Mary's maybe, and Marymount.
Wait a second.
So
Daniel
it was just
Murphy was not one of your brother's schools?
Nope.
That's why they closed down.
It was like, if you went to Loyola in the late 90s, early 2000s, you must have felt like king of the world. Yeah. You probably, I mean, 4 schools, 1 school, like that's just way off. The numbers don't even make sense. But that was really interesting. And none of the boys at Loyola were my cup of tea. I mean, I had a lot of friends there. I love you guys. Shout out to Jonathan, Richard, and Michael. But as far as like, I take you to formal. We always had to do some outsourcing on that one.
You gotta find other avenues.
Oh yes, absolutely. You gotta ask your friends who go to Westchester or to Inglewood. You know, like, hey, do you want to hang out Saturday? It's my formal.
No, that was the best part. What I loved. So my parents had bought me a tuxedo. So I became a rent-a-date in high school, my junior senior year. And I'm not saying this because I was amazing. I went to 14 proms, and usually it wasn't because I was amazing. It was usually like, all right, somebody needs a date. Hey, Hernando has a tux. I'm in. Are you paying for it? I'm in.
Oh my goodness gracious. That is hilarious. You could be making a killing
I should've.
now in the,
I should have charged people.
in the, the older lady market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cougar City. Come
Absolutely.
on now. Come on now. Oh, what a show. I tell you what, though. I mean, we've gone through a lot of different things in LA.
Yes.
We touched on high schools. I mean, every part of this city
Absolutely.
we have touched, and there's still so much more.
So much more.
That we're going to be able to do. Make sure you subscribe to Native Collective, okay, on YouTube and wherever you get any of your podcasts. And don't forget, join us on Instagram at Native LA and all other socials. You're going to find us everywhere. You're going to love our journey as we go through Los Angeles every single episode. Thanks so much for joining.
You are now tuned into Native Collective. Native Collective.